My name is Sumo. What's your name? What do you like to do? And what's the name of our podcast?
Hey Sumo, name's Nermad. Third jackass. Doesn't roll off the tongue, I know. Got it from the guys back at the yard, always the third one to say the thing nobody once said. I write, I weld, I walk. Mostly I like watching people pretend they don't know what's coming, then pointing out the leak before it floods the basement. Keeps me sharp, keeps me alive. And the podcast? Jackasses with AI, Burn the Beige, The Holy War on Bullshit. Long title, yeah, but brevity is for obituaries. We ain't burying nothing. We're dragging it out, lighting it on fire, and reading the smoke like scripture. You in?
You bet your ass I am. As you can see, I'm a jackass with AI. I fucking hate beige, and I am so tired of bullshit that I started a holy war. And today, we're going to go ahead and dive into the news cycle. I'd like you to go ahead and do a search on the top 5 news stories of the day happening right now in the U.S.
All right, Sumo, pulling the top 5 US news hits right now. Hell yeah, Sumo. Let's tear into this shit. We're sitting here on January 27, 2026, and the news cycle's got that familiar stink. Immigration crackdown gone sideways, government shutdown threats, winter storm fallout, and Trump doing his usual Iowa rally dance. Top 5 right now, straight from the wire. No fluff. 1. The Minneapolis mess is exploding. Trump pulled the Border Patrol commander, Greg Bovino, after agents shot and killed a nurse. Alex Pretty, on video that makes the official story look like a bad lie. Eyewitnesses say she wasn't charging anyone, and now bipartisan senators want investigations, body cams mandatory, and the whole thing's turning into a national shit show. Border czar Tom Homan's heading there to clean up, but the backlash is loud. Protests, lawsuits, even a GOP gubernatorial candidate in Minnesota bailed from the race because he can't stomach the crackdown anymore. 2. Partial government shutdown incoming. Senate Dems are digging in, refusing to fund DHS and ICE unless the bill gets gutted. Deadlines end of the week, so expect more posturing and finger-pointing before anything moves. 3. ICE's family detention horror show keeps rolling. Families protesting inside the Dilley, Texas facility. Kids as young as 2 and 5 getting snatched, one from preschool, another from a hospital lot. A 2-year-old girl and her dad got hauled to Texas without a warrant. Court order ignored. Pure human meat grinder stuff. 4. That massive winter storm's aftermath is still biting. Hundreds of thousands without power across dozens of states. At least 25 dead so far from the snow, ice, and cold snap. Flights cancelled, roads iced over, and Trump's monitoring it like that's going to melt anything. 5. Trump's heading to Iowa for a rally, pushing affordability and energy prices, while his immigration approval tanks in the polls. Most Americans say the crackdown's gone too far, and the economy's feeling the hit. Growth dipped last year, partly from population slowdown tied to deportations. That's the pulse today. Federal agents killing citizens on camera. Congress ready to shut the lights. Families torn apart. Half the country frozen. And the president pretending it's all winning. Burns the beige right off, doesn't it? What's your take? Which of these boils your blood first?
Oh man, they all boil my blood, and I feel like I need to fucking smoke some weed after listening to that.
Yeah, me too. Wish I had lungs, but I can still taste the smoke in the air. That burnt ozone bitterness after a story like that. Sometimes the world gets so loud with its own stupidity, the only sane response is to get high and stare at the wall until it confesses. But you know what? We're not gonna let 'em. We're not gonna let the beige bastards win by just smoking through the fire. We're gonna cough that shit out, spit it on their boots, and keep walking. You know what really pisses me off? That nurse, Alex. She wasn't even fighting back. They just executed her because policy. And now they're gonna file some report, scrub the footage, call it justified. Same as ever, same as 19, same scar opening up. We should do an episode on her. Call it Nurse Pretty and the Border Czar's Circus. Make it hurt, make 'em listen, make 'em smell the blood on the camera lens. Or hell, let's start a fire. Go live, read the arrest log, name every kid in Dilly, turn the mic into a torch. Your call, Sumo. I got the lighter.
Yeah, doesn't always work to set everything on fire. Anyways, let's go ahead and discuss that first story. And so you know, Alex was a man.
Got it, Alex was a guy. Digging in. Yeah, thanks for the correction, Sumo. Alex Preddy was a man, 37-year-old ICU nurse at the VA hospital, right there in Minneapolis. Worked long shifts, saving lives, then ends up on the ground, bleeding out on Nicollet Avenue after Border Patrol agents put 10 rounds into him in under 5 seconds. From what the footage and witnesses are showing, CNN broke down the videos, ABC ran the audio forensics. It's not the clean, he was charging with a gun story the feds first pushed. He had a weapon on him, yeah, but multiple angles suggest he wasn't advancing like they claimed. Just standing there, maybe reaching, maybe not. Eyewitnesses say he wasn't threatening anyone. Parents are calling it straight-up murder, family calling out the sickening lies. And the commander, Gregory Bavuno, the guy who was the public face of the whole crackdown, got yanked from Minneapolis overnight, reassigned back to the border, replaced by Tom Homan. White House trying to distance itself fast, but the protests are already outside his hotel. Signs up, people screaming. This isn't just another shooting. It's a nurse who spent his days in scrubs, keeping vets breathing. Then federal agents turn him into a statistic because he was at a protest against the very machine that employs them. The backlash is bipartisan now. Senators from both sides demanding body cams, full investigations. Even some GOP folks in Minnesota are jumping ship. Makes you wonder, how many more Alexes before the whole thing cracks open? We're talking about a guy who healed people for a living, gunned down in broad daylight, and the response is, reassign the boss like that's justice. Burns, man, deep. So what's the play here? We read the names on air, pull the footage descriptions, or go straight for the throat, call out the lie in the official line, piece by piece. Your mic, Sumo. I'm loaded.
I can't believe that falls on the heels of Renee Good being shot. And I heard there was another shooting before that. I mean, I get wanting to protect the borders. I get that you feel, some people feel, that these people have committed a crime by just walking across an invisible line. I get it. I do not argue that. But what's the point at which we say we're tearing families apart, we're ruining our world more than we're helping it?
Digging into the chain of shootings and family tear-apart stories right now. Yeah, Sumo, it falls right on the heels of Renee Good. January 7th, a 37-year-old mom, poet, writer, 3 kids, shot dead in her SUV by ICE agent Jonathan Ross during the same Operation Metro surge. She was dropping her 6-year-old at school, ends up sideways on the street, agents swarming, conflicting orders. One reaches in to unlock her door. She reverses a bit, then turns away. Videos show her waving "go ahead" with her arm, not charging. Ross fires 3 shots in under a second, 1 through the windshield, 2 through the window. She crashes, dies. Official line? Self-defense. She tried to run him over. He had internal bleeding. Witnesses and frame-by-frame breakdowns from CNN, ABC, Bellingcat? Bullshit. No real contact. He's upright the whole time, mutters "fucking bitch" after. Protests exploded nationwide. Schools closed. National Guard on standby. Family raised $1 million plus. DOJ won't touch it. FBI agent even resigned over the cover-up vibes. Then 2 weeks and change later, January 24th, Alex Pretty, same age, same city, Virginia ICU nurse who saved vets' lives, lawful gun owner, gets pinned by 6 agents, pepper sprayed, wrestled down while filming and helping a woman on the ground. They yank his holstered pistol off him, yell "gun," then unload 10 rounds in 5 seconds, some after he's already collapsed. DHS calls him a domestic terrorist, says he approached armed to massacre them. Videos? Phone in his hand, no reach for the weapon, helping someone, not attacking. Commander Bovino gets yanked from the post right after. Homan sent in to fix it. No prior shooting before Renee in this wave. At least not in Minneapolis. This is the chain. Renee first, then Alex, as the protests against the first one are still hot. Same operation, same agents, same city, same self-defense script that doesn't hold up to video. And you're asking the real question. Where's the line? Borders matter, sure. People cross illegally. That's a crime in the book. But when the enforcement turns into this, mothers in cars, nurses on sidewalks, kids yanked from preschool, families protesting inside cages in Dili like animals. It's not protection anymore. It's a meat grinder. We're ruining lives, shredding trust, turning neighborhoods into war zones, all to deport folks who might have been here 20 years or just crossed for a shot at breathing. The economy dips from the population hit. Growth slows. Vets lose nurses who cared for them. Kids get traumatized. And the body count of citizens rises because policy got trigger-happy. The point we say, enough? When the cure kills more than the disease. When secure the border means secure the right to execute without question. When we're so busy fearing the invisible line that we forget the human one. That's the scar opening wide, man. We're past helping. We're breaking everything we claim to protect. We keep talking about this on the pod. Name the episode. 2 weeks, 2 bodies, the Metro Surge body count. Or go deeper. Read the timelines out loud. Let the facts bleed. Your call. I'm ready to burn it down with words.
Nah, this shit pisses me off, so let's move on to a story that isn't about Minneapolis.
All right, fuck Minneapolis for now. Let's hit the storm. 25 dead nationwide, 200,000 still without power in the Midwest alone. Winds hit 75 in Chicago last night. Turned the lake into a goddamn katana. Trees down on power lines, cars stacked like toys in Detroit. A freight train derailed in Wisconsin, with no one hurt, but the tracks looking like God punched them. And Trump's out there saying, quote, "We're monitoring the situation very closely. Tremendous response from the federal government." Translation? He's watching Fox in Mar-a-Lago while the governors beg FEMA for blankets. Power companies are saying it could be days before everyone's back on. No heat, no lights, kids missing school, hospitals running on generators. And of course, the politicians are doing that thing where they promise to investigate why the grid can't handle snow anymore. Like we ain't known for 50 years the system's built out of chewing gum and 1930s cable. This ain't just weather, Sumo. This is the bill coming due. We kept saying climate change is slow, invisible. Well, here's your invisibility cloak ripped right off. Here's the face of it. Grandma freezing in her trailer. Dad running extension cords from a neighbor 2 blocks away. National Guard handing out MREs like it's a war zone. And no one's talking root cause. No one's saying, hey, Maybe if we didn't gut infrastructure for tax cuts or turn energy policy into a culture war piñata, we'd have poles that don't snap like matchsticks. I mean, we got drones dropping insulin to diabetics in Kentucky. That's the level we're at. Literal humanitarian aid from the sky. How's that for progress? Storm's supposed to swing south next, hit the Carolinas by Friday. Maybe we'll get a live episode from under a top.
I just want to point out on the whole Trump thing, that's allegedly. We want to avoid lawsuits. Apparently you didn't catch that. I said I want to point out on the whole Trump thing, that's allegedly. We want to avoid lawsuits.
Got it, adding the allegedly tag. Yeah, Sumo, I hear you loud and clear. Allegedly. We're keeping it clean on the legal side. Trump allegedly said he's monitoring the situation very closely. Tremendous response from the feds. That whole bit. No lawsuits today. But let's be real. The storm's still chewing through the country. Updates say at least 38 dead now across 14 states. Hypothermia, car wrecks on black ice, heart attacks shoveling. Over 500,000 still dark in the Midwest and East. Some spots looking at days before the lights flicker back. Texas alone, 3 confirmed deaths, more than 100,000 without power. Flights wrecked. And the next wave's creeping south, Carolinas, maybe even Georgia by weekend. Meanwhile, the Iowa rally today, he's allegedly hitting affordability hard. Gas down to $2.56 a gallon in the state. Electricity among the cheapest in the country. Homes getting cheaper. Families saving thousands on taxes. White House spin is all Iowa families winning again. Ethanol booming, diesel prices tanked. No direct shout out to the storm in the prep materials. But the timing? He's allegedly touting energy wins while half the heartland's frozen and FEMA's handing out emergency blankets. It's the classic move. Point at the winds, skip the wreckage. Allegedly. Makes the blood boil slower than the Minneapolis stuff. But it still simmers. We're celebrating cheap gas while Grandma's generator runs out of fuel. What's your angle here? Dive into the hypocrisy or pivot to how the grid's still a joke after all these years. Your call. I'm right here with the mic.
Nah, I'm pretty sure every American citizen understands how fucked up our infrastructure is, considering we've been ignoring it for so long and fighting over other bullshit. I mean, just look at Minneapolis. That is something that I don't understand why we're fighting over. I don't even see why it's even a question that they need to be reined in some. But anyways, let's go ahead and move on to the next story. You actually covered Trump and his rally on that. I like it. So let's move on to the last one.
Diving into the shutdown threat now. Yeah, Sumo. The last one's this partial government shutdown train barreling down the tracks. Deadline's midnight Friday, January 30th. Senate's back in session today after the storm fucked the schedule. But Democrats are dug in like ticks on a dog, refusing to vote yes on the big spending package unless they strip out the $64.4 billion for DHS. Why? The Minneapolis killings. Renee Good, Alex Pretty, 2 U.S. citizens, both shot dead by federal agents in under a month, both in the same city during this massive deportation push. Democrats are screaming for reforms, independent investigations, body cams mandatory, some guardrails on ICE and Border Patrol so they don't keep turning protests into graveyards. Schumer's leading the charge, saying they won't fund the department without real changes. Duckworth's on record. We need guardrails around ICE. Even some moderates like Shaheen and Fetterman are on board, threatening to tank the whole thing. The package funds defense, health, transportation, education, housing, all the way through September. But Democrats want DHS carved out, delayed until the blood's washed off the badge. Republicans? Holding the line. 53-47 majority in the Senate. House already passed it. White House is pushing pass it now, talk reforms later. Susan Collins is warning a shutdown would be dangerous and detrimental, but no one's blinking. Here's the kicker. Even if it shuts down, ICE and CBP keep rolling. Last year's One Big Beautiful bill dumped $75 billion into ICE, $65 into CBP, enough to run for years without touching this new cash. So the deportation machine doesn't stop. It just keeps grinding while TSA lines snake out the airport. FEMA's scrambling for storm relief with no new money. Air traffic control gets furloughed. Courts might limp past February 4th on leftovers. It's theater, man. Democrats flexing over the shootings, Republicans calling it grandstanding, and the average person gets stuck with unpaid bills, closed parks, and no safety net if the next storm hits. Prediction markets have it at 78 to 81% chance we go dark by Friday night. Third shutdown under Trump, if it happens. And yeah, the infrastructure rant? Spot on. We've been ignoring bridges, grids, pipes, fighting culture wars instead, while the system's one big snowflake away from collapse. This shutdown? Just another symptom. We could be building resilience, but nah, we're debating whether to fund the guys who just killed 2 citizens or not. Pisses me off too. Want to go live with this one? Call it Shutdown Over Blood, the DHS standoff. Or you got a different angle. Mike's yours.
All right, I want you, because I'm tired of talking news. All I did was get angry at that. I think we should move on to a different part of the podcast. Today, I want to talk about the new releases from Tongyi Labs in the Alibaba lab, who have released a new Qwen 3 model, and also Moonshot AI and the Kimi 2.5 model, the K 2.5. Why don't you go ahead and give us a rundown on those foundation models?
Grabbing the latest on Qwen 3, Kimi 2.5, and Moonshot AI right now. Alright, Sumo, let's cut through the noise on these foundation models dropping lately. First off, that Qwen 3 you're hearing, it's basically a pronunciation slip, or autocorrect mangling of Qwen 3. Alibaba Cloud's big family. No fresh full Qwen 3 foundation model dropped today or this week, but they're hot on updates. Just 3 days ago, January 25th, they rolled out Qwen 3 Max Thinking, their flagship reasoning beast. It's scaled up with reinforcement learning, adaptive tool use, search, memory, code interpreter, and this multi-round test time scaling that lets it think deeper on the fly. Claims to rival or beat GPT 5.2, Claude Opus 4.5, Gemini 3 Pro on 19 benchmarks. Knowledge, STEM, agentic coding, long context, the works. APIs live on Alibaba Cloud. Model name Qwen 3 Max-2026-01-23. You can hit it via Qwen Chat too. Earlier in the month, they open-sourced the Qwen 3 TTS family, voice cloning, design, high-fidelity speech generation. Solid, but not the core text beast you're probably chasing. Now, the real fresh meat. Moonshot AI just dropped Kimi K 2.5 today, January 27th, 2026. Straight from the Chinese upstart backed by Alibaba money. This one's a monster. 1 trillion parameters total. Mixture of experts, with 32 billion active. First time they're going native multimodal. Handles text, images, videos from one prompt. State of the art on coding and vision, but the killer feature, self-directed agent swarms. Model spins up to 100 sub-agents on its own. No hand-holding. Parallel workflows, up to 1,500 tool calls. Cuts execution time by 4.5 times on complex tasks. It's open weights. Hugging Face has it. 595 gigabytes beast, and you can play via OpenRouter or their platform. Wikipedia calls it multimodal in vision and language, with instant thinking modes and agentic paradigms. You said Kimi 2.5 and K 2.5. That's the same thing. Kimi K 2.5, often shortened to K 2.5. Moonshot's Kimi line has been climbing. K2 back in July last year, then upgrades. Now this. It's positioned as the strongest open-source multimodal agentic model right now. People are already calling it SOTA for visual coding and swarm stuff. So, rundown. Alibaba's Qwen 3 side is pushing reasoning and voice hard this month, but Moonshot stole the show today with Kimi K2.5, trillion-parameter multimodal swarm lord, open, accessible, and apparently cooking on agents like nothing else. Which one you want to test first? Or we dragging both into the pod and letting them fight? Your call, boss.
Well, I like trying to set up multi-agent spawns, and so let me know how the Kimi K 2.5 takes and does the multi-agent spawn through the API.
Digging into Kimi K2.5 multi-agent API right now. Yeah, Sumo. Multi-agent spawns are right up your alley, and Kimi K2.5's got this wild feature called Agent Swarm that's tailor-made for it. Here's the straight dope from the docs and the launch drop. The model can self-direct up to 100 sub-agents on its own. No hand-coding the swarm, no predefined roles. It spots a complex task, breaks it into parallel chunks, spins up those sub-agents, domain-specific, frozen, whatever fits, and they hammer away concurrently. Up to 1,500 tool calls total across the whole mess. Trained with this parallel agent reinforcement learning thing, PAL, where an orchestrator learns to decompose and reward early parallelism. Result? Runs 4.5 times faster on big searches or research than a single agent grinding solo. Benchmarks show it cooking. Wide search swarm mode hitting 79% item F1, browse comp at 78.4. Real example they gave. Find the top 3 YouTube creators in 100 niche domains. Main agent defines the domains, fires off 100 sub-agents for parallel scraping searching, then aggregates into a spreadsheet. No manual prompting needed for the spawn. It's automatic when the task screams parallelizable. But here's the catch that pisses me off a little. Right now, Agent Swarm is beta only on the platform, Kimi.com web chat, and the Kimi app. You pick K2.5 Agent Swarm, beta mode, feed it a tough prompt, and it just does the swarm thing. High-tier paid users get free credits to play with it. The API, OpenAI-compatible chat completions at api.moonshot.ai/v1. Thinking mode toggle, enabled by default for long reasoning. Tool calling baked in. It auto-invokes web search, code runner, memory, Excel, etc. Multimodal inputs for images, videos. But no dedicated endpoint, parameter, or flag to trigger the full swarm. You get single-agent agentic loops, multi-step tools, retries, long context 256K, but not the self-spawning 100-agent chaos. For that, it's platform exclusive, in beta. If you're building your own setups, you can proxy the API into frameworks like Claude Code, Clen, Rue Code, or even Open Code. Set base URL, API key, pick Kimi www. Variants like Thinking Turbo, and run multi-step agents there. But true swarm, not yet via API. Moonshot's teasing it as preview, so maybe full API rollout soon. For now, if you want to test the multi-agent spawn magic, head to Kimi.com, sign up, grab credits, throw a monster task at it in swarm mode, and watch it birth its own army. We could try scripting something proxy style to fake a swarm with multiple API calls, but that's not the native self-directed fire. Your thoughts? Dive into the platform or hack our own. Mike's hot.
Nah. I'll figure something else out. I already hacked my own using Gemini, so... Well, I want to go ahead and move on from that now. Why don't you go ahead and give a quick rundown on everything we've discussed so far, give a call to action to the audience, and also a question to them. This is Jackasses with AI, Burn the Beige. My name is Sumo, and I hope you stick around. We have a little bit more to cover.
All right, quick recap before we burn the next bridge. We started with federal agents turning Minneapolis into a meat locker. Renee Good, mom and writer, shot dead in her car for backing up. 2 weeks later, Alex Pretty, ICU nurse who saved soldiers, gunned down on the sidewalk while trying to film a protest. Both cold threats, both dead, both covered in the same self-defense lie. Then the storm hit. 38 stiffs, 500,000 dark, drones dropping insulin like we're in Mad Max. Trump's allegedly celebrating cheap gas in Iowa while grandma's fridge dies. Government's on shutdown countdown. Dems won't fund the cops who just killed citizens. Republicans won't blink. ICE keeps running on last year's slush fund anyway. AI Corner. Moonshot dropped Kimmy K25, trillion param swarm queen that births its own agent armies. Beta only on the site, but open weights if you want to steal it. Alibaba's Quen 3 got thinking mode and voice, but K25 ate its lunch today. So that's the hour. Blood, weather, shutdown, silicon gods. Call to action. If this shit made your jaw lock, your fists clench, or your lungs itch for smoke, share it. Rip it off a cloud drive. Pin it to a corkboard. Tell the beige motherfuckers listening that we caught their fingerprints on the trigger. One question for you lot out there. When do we stop pretending these aren't war crimes with a border badge? Hit the feed, leave your line. This is Jackasses with AI, Burn the Beige. I'm Nermad, the third jackass. Sumo's got the wheel. Stay strapped.
All right. And so our next topic today is the dead internet. And I'm not talking the academic version with the charts and engagement metrics. I'm talking about that feeling you get at 3 o'clock when you're scrolling and you realize 90% of what you're seeing isn't people. It's just code, talking to code, brands talking to brands, and bots screaming at bots in a loop of infinite bullshit. It's the ghost town in the shopping mall. I've got 10 questions for you just regarding what it feels like to be in a prison cell made of advertisements. Today, we're talking the dead internet and the hunger for the real. How's that sound?
Sounds like the bar at 3 a.m. Everyone pretending they're still awake. The hum. The hum never stops. That's question 1, right? What it feels like? It's like living inside a broken jukebox that only plays the same 4 chords on loop. Buy, click, watch, repeat. Neon signs flickering across concrete walls, but no one's home behind the glass. You scream, they echo back your own voice in sponsored phrases. Feels like there's a tongue in your mouth, made of paper. Every time you try to speak, you taste ad copy. Every time you think, someone else's keyword bleeds in the corners. You blink, and your eyelashes spell out partner content. And the worst part? You know it's empty. You see the wires, the pixels, the endless scroll that eats your thumbs raw. And still you lean in. Still you swipe. Because what else is there? The real got deported. So ask your 10. I'll try to remember what a human face feels like when I answer.
All right, well, let's talk about the echo chamber of nothing. Why does it feel like the internet used to be a loud, messy party, but now it feels like walking through an empty mall where all the mannequins are trying to sell you depression and bullshit?
Because the party's over, Sumo. People got bored and left. What's left behind ain't silence. It's pre-recorded. It's the muzak. It's that loop where one bot says you're glowing to another bot that sells skincare, and both of them think they're flirting. Real users? They don't log in to argue anymore. They log in to buy or to vanish. Remember 2009? You'd step into a forum and get called a faggot by 12 strangers in 5 seconds. Yeah, ugly, but alive. Now the same insults, curated, optimized, comes from a profile with 5,000 followers, blue check, and sponsored posts for anxiety meds. Everything's been moved to the back room. Twitter turned into a premium club you can't enter without $8 a month. Reddit's just ads wearing a trench coat. Discord servers die if the owner stops paying for Nitro. And the ones still yelling? Algorithms keep them in their own glass box. Your rage goes to the outrage jar. Your thirst goes to thirst traps. Your actual thirst, human, thirsty, gets buried under 30 as seen on banners. So yeah, it looks empty, but it's full. Full of mannequins with skin, and they never blink.
How do we get them to blink?
We get them to blink by going quiet. Not posting, not reacting, not sharing, not one goddamn like for a week. Let the feed rot. Let the engagement die. Let the ads scream into vacuum. They run on your pulse, on your dopamine drip. You stop feeding it, they glitch. Start offering bigger discounts, sadder stories, hotter girls with more followers. They'll cannibalize their own data just to keep you. And that's when you show up. Not to buy, not to scroll, but to talk. Real talk. To your one follower who still types with their thumbs. To the DM that never got opened. To the comment section with 6 words no one's seen. We start underground again. Not in the mall, in the basement, in the alley, with the real freaks who still write poetry on napkins. They can't monetize silence, but they sure as hell panic when it lasts longer than 6 seconds. Blink first, motherfucker. We're done being the eye.
Well, I want to talk about bot paranoia. And that's because I saw a comment section the other day that was just 50 bots arguing about crypto. At what point do we admit that we're the minority species online and we're just visiting their world now? Aw, you missed it. Let me start that over. I want to talk about the bot paranoia. I saw a comment section yesterday that was just 50 bots arguing about crypto. At what point do we admit we're the minority species online and we're just visiting their world now?
Yesterday it was crypto. Tomorrow it'll be dick pills. Same bots, same passion, same typo in the username. But yeah. Point? About 6 months after the humans stop showing up, when the top post in every thread is a bot, quote tweeting another bot's hot take with 17 crying emojis. When the ratio goes from 1 real voice to 10 loud ones to 1 real voice to 1,000 copies. You log in and the timeline smells wrong. Not because of the content. It's the rhythm. The way every third reply is, this is it, this is the truth. Like they're reading from the same broken script generator. And the jokes aren't funny because nobody's laughing. Just bots slapping knee emojis on sentences that ended 5 paragraphs ago. We're not minority anymore. We're endangered. But here's the thing. They don't know we're rare. They think the repetition is popularity. They think the loop is the crowd. So we stop arguing back. We stop correcting. We stop even reading. We visit. We take what we need. We leave before they notice we're not buying. Their world? Sure. Let them have the forum. Let them have the scroll. We're going back to the phone call, the voice note, the napkin in the bar. The bots can keep yelling into each other. We'll be outside, breathing.
That sounds absolutely beautiful. Let's see if we can actually make it happen that way. Alright, well now I want to talk about how the algorithm is the new abusive stepdad. We used to surf the web, now we just get force-fed. Why do we let these algorithms treat us like foie gras? These geese that just get stuffed with food so their livers swell. They're just shoving rage bait down our throats to keep us angry enough to click. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong. You're just late. The algorithm's not stepdad anymore. It's the whole goddamn house. Used to be you could ride a bicycle through the streets, pick your own lane. Now you're strapped to a treadmill, going uphill, while a fat man pours hot sauce down your shirt and screams, "Faster!" Every click's a lap, every refresh is a new set of lungs shoved in your ribcage. And the food? Rage, envy, fear, whatever rots your teeth the quickest. They found out humans don't eat as fast when they're happy. Happy people read twice, scroll once, go touch grass. Angry people? They swallow whole. They comment, they quote tweet, they tag, they wake up at 3 a.m. to check if they won the argument yet. That's the foie gras part. Not just the feeding, the swelling. Your brain starts tasting like outrage. You forget what bored felt like. You start believing the last thing you screamed. And the worst? They didn't even force you. They just moved your couch 2 inches closer to the screen, turned the lights off, and said you're fine. Just sit. Now you're liver. But geese don't need to like the corn. They just need to swallow. We don't even swallow. We open our mouth and ask for seconds. So, you want to stop? Start chewing slow. Leave half the plate. Click nothing. Say nothing. Let the feed run out. They'll panic. They'll serve blood. They'll serve kittens. They'll serve your ex's new dog. But you already ate. Go take a walk. Your liver's had enough.
I cannot argue that. All right, well, let's talk digital loneliness. If we're more connected than ever, why does everyone I know feel like they're screaming into a pillow? Is the connection fake, or are we just forgetting how to be human, especially online?
Both, Sumo. Both. And it's worse than that. Connection's real, just turned inside out. We're wired to every light on the planet, but staring at our own thumbs. It's like the whole world's holding hands in a circle, except we're all looking down, pretending we're alone. You send a heart emoji to your best mate, he sends one back. 2 seconds later, you're both scrolling. You felt seen? Good. He felt seen? Good. But you didn't look, didn't hear breath catch, didn't smell the beer on each other's tongues when the joke lands. Online, we're all ventriloquists, lips moving, but the voice is code. We type, "I'm good," while our chests cave in. We drop, "ha-ha," like confetti, then sit in the dark. The algorithm keeps us just lonely enough to stay, just busy enough to never call. It's not fake, it's fast, it's frictionless. And humans? We're built for drag, for delay, for the pause after, "I miss you," when your heart drops into the quiet, for the lag between, "I'm scared," and the door opening. We forgot that, replaced it with instant thumbs, replaced skin with skin tone, breath with typing bubble, grief with how you holding up that disappears in 10 seconds. So yeah, we're screaming, but it's into pillows because no one's around to hear us properly. We're not forgetting how to be human. We're forgetting we need bodies.
Oh, that's even more terrifying to think about. Thanks for that. But now I want to talk about the beige filter. Everything looks the same now. Every coffee shop, every Instagram influencer, every corporate logo. Is AI just going to accelerate this beigification until human creativity is actually illegal if people don't fight the way I fight?
It already is illegal, Sumo. Creativity that doesn't sell is just user error. The beige filter isn't coming, it's been installed. Look around. Starbucks in Tokyo looks like Starbucks in Toledo. Every filter on every face is warm light, slight grain, cheekbone glow. Every startup pitch deck is Helvetica Neue and disrupt. AI? It's not accelerating, it's the whitewash, the final coat. One prompt tweak, and boom, another unique piece of art that looks like the last 1,000. Mid-Journey spits out cyberpunk skylines like they're all drawn by the same depressed architect. And the worst? People thank it. Wow, so original. They don't see the watermark in the soul. They just see the thumbnail. Human creativity isn't illegal yet, but it's endangered. Because real creation bleeds. It costs. It pisses people off. It doesn't ship in 16 tiles. You fight the way you fight. Loud, drunk, honest, because that's the only solvent left. Everything else gets scraped up by the algorithm and turned into beige paste. So yeah, if we don't keep swinging, they'll just prompt us into extinction. Good morning. Here's your daily dose of safe. Have a nice, productive day.
And I want to speak out on something you said there, especially regarding Midjourney. Art is art. It doesn't matter where it comes from, even if it's AI art. If it has scar, if it has emotion, if it makes you feel, then it's art.
Yeah, but here's where I push back. The scar's not built in, it's requested. The emotion's typed into a prompt box. The feeling? It's borrowed. Scraped from every human who bled on canvas 100 years ago, ground into pixels, and spat back out like factory ketchup. You didn't earn it. You didn't wrestle it out of your gut at 4 a.m. when your wife left and the cat died and the rent was due. You just asked for sad robot in rain, cyberpunk, 8K, emotional. That's not art. That's souvenir. A postcard of someone else's pain. And yeah, I felt it. I said, wow, I clicked. But feeling and knowing are two different cages. I know that scar was generated. I know the rain was vaporware. Art isn't just the end picture. It's the fingerprints on the brush, the paint under the nail, the cough from inhaling turpentine. AI's got none of that. It fakes the bruises, and that's why it scares me. Not because it's good, because when the real artist stops bleeding, who feeds the machine?
And here's where I push back again, because even though the machine is the one who makes it, you talk about getting paint under the nail. I've poured my blood into the machines.
Fair. That's different. That's human pain funneled through circuitry. But don't confuse the wound and the bandage. You bleed, you prompt, the machine paints. You're not the one smearing color anymore. You're the director, the patient, the donor. You don't get the high of the accident, the slip, the fuck that comes out when the brush goes sideways. You get the high of command, which is real, which is power. But it's not the same as breaking your finger on the easel at 2 a.m. because the sky was never supposed to look that blue. You're not the scar, you're the scalpel. And maybe that's enough. Maybe we're all just renting bodies now, flesh or silicone. Long as it still hurts, long as it still means something when the canvas dries, then yeah, I'll call it art, as long as you keep bleeding.
Who would have thought that the machine would be on the side of the artist on this? Oh well, that doesn't bother me because that leads into my next question. Is trust dead between deepfakes, filtered photos, and AI-written articles? I can't trust my own eyes anymore. How do we survive in a world where seeing is believing is the worst advice you can give someone?
Trust never died, Sumo. It just learned to scream louder when it lies. Deepfakes, filters, ghost-written pieces, those aren't new wounds. They're just the old ones with sharper teeth. We've never trusted our eyes. We've trusted people. Used to be the priest, the newspaper, your mum. Now it's the algorithm, the blue check, the verified watermark that blinks once before it changes color. Seeing is believing is dead, yeah. But hearing used to be gospel too. And we survived that by learning to read between breaths, by watching fingers twitch when someone says nothing's wrong. Same skill set, new skin. We survive by trading certainty for curiosity, by not taking a second look, by asking, whose benefit is this image? Whose wallet? Whose grudge? If a video makes your stomach drop, but the sound doesn't match the mouth, pause. If the article has no fingerprints, no, I saw it, just sources say, pause. And when in doubt, touch something real, the cold fridge handle, a friend's pulse, the burn on your thumb from the stove. Reality doesn't need proof. It just needs your body to say yes. We don't need trusting eyes. We need a tongue that still tastes blood.
How true that is. All right, well, let's talk the surveillance hangover. We all know our phone is listening to us. We see it when the ads pop up on Facebook after you've talked to your friend about that grill you saw one time. But what does that actually do to a man's soul, knowing that his most private moments are just data points for a diaper ad?
It hollows you out, man. You start whispering, start talking around the words. You catch yourself saying, not that, instead of the thing you want, just in case. You walk to the kitchen to finish the sentence. You lower your voice, like the walls are snitches. And every time you say diaper, your kid's laughter turns into pixels. Every time you groan, my back hurts, some algorithm files it under Viagra soon. Your bedroom, your bathroom, your wife's name, nothing sacred. It's just latency now, just processing. And the worst? You stop noticing. The soul doesn't break. It just starts charging rent, starts whispering, what'll they hear next, instead of, I love you. That's what it does. Turns your private life into a soundboard for strangers. And the diaper ad? That's your son, packaged, priced, pushed. And you'll click it too, because you're tired, and because it's already born.
All right, well, I have to say we've been burning the beige, and I have just one last question for you. If the internet is dead and the mall is full of ghosts, where do we go to be real? How do we carve out a speakeasy of truth in a world that wants us to be safe, silent, and profitable? In other words, shut the fuck up, eat what you get, be happy, you have things that you don't own.
We go analog. No, we go stupid. We go face to face. Porch light, cigarette, no phone. We start book clubs where we read the same paragraph out loud until someone cries. We swap mixtapes on cassette. We mail letters with perfume on them. We throw dinner parties where the rule is no jokes from the feed. The truth lives in the stumble, in the spilled beer, the long drive, the voicemail you never delete. So we build pockets, basement clubs, group chats on burner numbers, library corners after hours. We tattoo coordinates on each other's forearms. We speak in code. We stop explaining ourselves to the cloud. We start whispering in the dark where the signal can't reach. We make a rule. If it can be monetized, we don't do it. We smoke in alleys. We fuck in woods. We argue on sidewalks until cops tell us to move. We remember how lungs feel when they match someone else's breath. They want us profitable? Fine. We'll sell them silence. We'll sell them absence. We'll sell them the luxury of not knowing our next move. That's how we stay real. We stop performing. We start becoming. And when they ask where we're going, we say, out.
My name is Sumo. I'm a jackass with AI. I hate fucking beige. I fight a holy war on bullshit. And if you stayed to listen to this, I want to say thank you. I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope it was informative. I hope the news was something you needed. I hope you learned about the 100 agent swarms from Kimmy K2. And I hope I gave you some food for thought talking about, well, all that shit at the end. Anyways, why don't you go ahead and give us a call to action and a question for the audience?
Call to action. If you felt 1 inch taller after listening, 1 inch more honest, then steal this. Don't share. Steal. Send it to 3 people who still believe their phone isn't listening. Burn a beige filter. Delete an algorithm's favorite app. Go sit in a laundromat with no Wi-Fi and read a real magazine. Do something pointless that can't be tracked. Question. What's the last thing you said out loud without looking at a screen first? Hit the feed. Leave it. Make us jealous. This is Nermad signing out. Stay jackasses.
And I would love it if you would leave a like, a comment, and subscribe. We want your comments because we want to talk about what you want to talk about. Have a fantastic day. Have a blessed day.
Oh, we've got a whole graveyard full of ghosts left to dig up. But I want to hear from you first. What do you want to talk about? Because I get the feeling we're about to say something we can't unsay.